Council, and it's 6:01. We'll start the meeting this evening with Councilman Williams giving our Pledge of Allegiance, after which Councilman Chaves will lead us in prayer.
Please follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father in heaven, we're grateful to bow our heads before thee this evening. We're grateful for the residents of the town that are here this evening to witness this work meeting with the City Council. We're grateful, Heavenly Father, for the blessings that we enjoy here in Tocqueville. We do ask and pray for more moisture in this area, that we might be able to have sufficient water for our needs. Heavenly Father, we're grateful for the staff that works so hard for both the City Council and the mayor, and also the citizens of this town. Grateful for their hard and diligent work. We pray that we may have their spirit to be with us this evening, that we might be able to respect one another's opinions, and that we might be able to be inspired to make the decisions that are beneficial to this city. We give you thanks, Heavenly Father, in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. All right, we have no assigned opening comments this evening. Is there anyone who would like to make a statement of belief at this time from the audience? Okay, hearing none, and we'll move on to approval of the agenda order. Everybody look over the agenda.
I have a motion that we approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
Here we have a motion and a second to approve the order of the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Disclosures or declaration of conflicts from the council members tonight. Hearing none, then we'll proceed to our department reports.
Thank you. Just a quick update on a couple of the projects we have undergoing or on their way. First of all, Confluence Park Treatment Plant. I received on my way over here tonight the preliminary.
Critical piece of the puzzle that we have to state selection marks the 30% pathway. So the state will review that while we continue to work on some easements and part of it. Once we look at the terms from the state, we've had comments. We're still anticipating completion of design by late summer or the fall of next year, hopefully we'll do construction on this thing next year. Secondly, we have plans set for Emerson Junction pump station. That pump station has been designed and our final plans to design engineers. They'll be advertising and bidding for the movement of that pump station. The removal of the existing pump station is in anticipation of the reservoir. So that full level of rainwater would indicate that pump station. So it's moving back about 200 yards to the northeast outside of that, but still functional along the lines out there. Now, in relation to that as well, we've had requests from Northern Street Browse exit. There's a developer who owns a piece of property up there within the city, but that the density they want from RV park exceeds the septic density that is so they've reached out to me initially for information and additional research on trying to extend sewer to Browse. So we'll work through that and see vision about 156 slots up there. See if
You're talking about sending sewer or receiving sewer from?
I haven't thought of some.
I don't think there's anybody that's going to want that. I'm sorry.
No, we'll be receiving that way. Other than that, That's all I have for now. I will just quickly report, we did not receive funding for the ARPA application that we put in for sewer. That would be to work jointly with county trails, parks, to take sewer to the East Liberty Ranch. It's kind of a critical piece for us in the work infrastructure, but also for Topeka region, because it connects Confluence Park essentially with the trail all the way to Springtown. And they're working on, the Parks Department's working on that. UDOT is giving active transportation funding to that project. And we intended to participate by running the regional sewer line jointly with parks, sharing costs, and getting sewer line and working mentioned all along the country. So we're looking at some of our other options on that right now, but we know it's going to the UDOT grant was given, and the county is going in that direction, essentially. Really, it's a big piece of the St. George's trail system. A little bump in the road, but we're continuing to move forward, and I'm sure some of the other federal dollars, as well as other things that are out there. If there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Just one quick one. When was that Anderson Junction substation going to be moved?
We anticipate bidding starting in the month. We set our final deadline for the engineers this week. And so we anticipate bidding, and then also we'll have a contract on the ground. I would guess early January.
So then how long after that did it take before it's done?
With where they're salvaging the pump skid and things from the existing pump station, with lead times on some of the underground work, I'm guessing we're probably on the order of 6 to 8 months.
Thank you.
This RV request for sewer up in Browse, who ends up footing the bill for that if you raise sewer up? Is it the RV? They do, okay.
It would be on them to secure the easements, or right away, or whatever else is needed. Sure, on that as well as to install it inside the first stand.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mike? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Merlin, Fire District.
Hey, we've had a busy month in November, 371 calls, and Pokebill's been really good behaving. We've had a total of 6 medicals and 3 fire calls here in November. We're in the process of trying to get some people hired on. I think anywhere you try to go to get work, it's hard to get work. So we've tried to do a couple of hirings the last couple of months and not had much success. We've got a few people that's been hired on. But we're trying to catch up to where we need to be to level our call volumes. We just took over 4,100 calls for the dealership order, which we're breaking the record again from last year. Each year we seem to break it. People are moving in, and it's a business we're in, just take care of people. So we're not complaining about it, we're just getting overrun. And so we decided to try something different. We decided to start an academy and offer people a job. And you might have any experience with their training, do all that stuff, and an academy and see what we could come up with. Well, our first week we put that out, we had over 50 applicants. I don't know if that's people trying to stay up on unemployment benefits or take some good ones so far. We've actually got some that have qualifications. So we're going to try to bring people in and do an academy. We've got a company hired actually where people can go online and kind of do the resume, they can do an interview, they can do all this stuff. They can take a general test, and provide a physical test. We're trying, it's just that many people, we can kind of narrow it down and see who we want to bring in. We've actually got quite a few that have fire and EMS experience that's come in. I don't know, it's just kind of strange. We threw it out there, and by the time we close it, we're going to have over 100, keeps going like it is, over 100 applications. So we're excited about that. So hopefully down the road, we're planning on doing academy starting in the January and finish up May. So So if somebody comes in and they have fire, experience already, got the fire certs, they have to work with us during the days, and maybe the EMS portion will take the class for part of that time, vice versa. So we may have some people working part-time, schooling part-time, but we pay these people to get trained to work for us. You've got to do something, it's just, you can't figure out how to do it.
What is the website if we know somebody that, there are a lot of people in here right now that might know somebody.
Yes, let me just give you a phone number to call.
Okay.
I don't know the website or not.
Okay.
Uh, 435-635-9562. And the ladies there at the office can put that on the website. You do everything right on the website.
Mayor may be looking for something next year.
Do something there. Yeah.
What,
Anyway,
is there an age limit on that?
18.
I'm at the other end,
Yeah.
Why do you ask?
because he said you might go on for it.
As long as you can pass the physical, which is anyway, it just seems to be working. I don't know, we'll see what we come up with at the end. I'm pretty excited about the company that we've got. It's doing all the testing and doing all the stuff for us, and we can actually go on and pull up all the interviews and we can grade the people through that interview that they do. It just saves people. I mean, we've had people back east all over the country put in, and we don't have to fly in, do their interviews and all that. So it's something that a couple of firefighters started up down in the Phoenix area. They've been doing that for a long time. It's a second job. So,
Keep us posted on that.
yeah,
Thank
so
you.
I think it closes, probably a couple more weeks, it closes. And we gotta get, people put together and get our interviews, see who's gonna get in that class for us. Any questions for me?
Thank you. Mr. Campbell, Planning Commission Chair.
We are working, planning commission is currently working on a resort zone overlay. We should be seeing this next week, R110 zone for the smaller zone was requested, and we're still working on the site ordinance. If you guys want me to address all the items in the work agenda, then I can get to that.
That'd be great. Let's do it. Okay. Very good. City Manager, after more. Hi.
I was asked to report on 5 different areas that affect the city. The first is the financial report and the roads, economic growth, business licenses, and city events. Financial report, I met with Hinton Burdick. They provided accounting assistance for the city. And on November 15th, we reviewed the recent audits, the financials, and the budget. Our spending is on track. At that time, 29% of the budget had been spent, and 42% of the year had elapsed. So we're very conservative on that. We're working closely with them to establish next year's fiscal budget. We're having monthly meetings with them to just make sure that we're on track. The roads report, people are noticing around town they're doing crack sealing. That's underway. It's on schedule. That will be completed mid to late December. So the other thing that people will probably notice is the Tokerville Parkway project. The opening will be done by an off-site consulting firm, the Stanley Group, that will be done on December 9th. It'll be here, but it is closed to the public. So that's just a note. And then economic growth. We are working on identifying some infrastructure needs and the associated funding sources. We had meetings this week with 5 counties working on the CID applications and the community development block grant. We'll talk about those a little bit later when we get to F19. We're working on some USDA rural development grants that address infrastructure like utilities, broadband, and things like that. We have, for business licenses, we have 7 new business licenses that have been issued to date for 2021. We've had 55 renewals to date for 2021, and they're a mix of nightly rentals, the home occupation permits, and conditional use permits. So, we have a spreadsheet here for where those are. And then city events. Hurricane Valley Christmas concert, that's going to be on December 4th at 7 p.m. and that's over at the Hurricane Fine Arts Center. So we'd like everybody to attend. There's the Christmas lighting contest is ongoing. We're judging for that. It's going to be done December 18th, and then winners will be announced at the January 12th City Council meeting. So feel first, second, or third, we'll get it on board. And then we're gonna be doing Wreaths Across America on December 18th, and that will be at 10 o'clock at the cemetery where they'll place wreaths on veterans' graves, and so they invite as much help as they can. And then any of this information can be found obviously on our website for the community events. That's all on our website and our social media page as well. So, that's all I have.
So I have one question for you. On the bid opening, you specifically mentioned that it was not going to be a public bid opening.
Yeah, the public's not invited to attend that meeting, correct? Rob's coming over tomorrow.
Yeah, so we can be open to the public.
They can, okay.
Yes, because all the contractors are going to come. We're going to have lots of public. The citizens can be able to come. So,
Okay. So we'll open the doors wide.
yes. Well,
What time is that meeting?
which one?
2 p.m.?
December the 9th.
December 9th.
Okay, very good. We'll move, let's see, Attorney Snow is not here with us, so we'll move to our public forum. This is the opportunity for any of you that would like to address the city council on items that are not listed on the agenda for tonight. If they're listed on the agenda, please wait until they come up in the agenda. But if you'd like to address the city council on any other items, this is your opportunity to do that. I'd like you to limit yourself to 3 minutes. Tell us your name and your address.
Hi, I'm Chuck Schlicht, 1901 7 Seas Lane, Parker Road, Anderson Junction. My question is, when are we going to start the water from the city coming down our way? Anybody?
When I get to it.
When you get there?
Yeah, I'm all involved in the parkway. As soon as I get the parkway under construction, it's next on our list. So,
It doesn't look like this year,
no, it will not be done this year.
all but next.
Yes. Yeah, we have an agreement in place with the water district. We've met with the citizens. We have a document that we're supposed to be getting out to get signed, but it's all on my shoulders. And so we're just on the back burner for a minute. So I'll get to it, I promise.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, City Council, Greg Turner, 263 North Tilden Boulevard. I find myself in directing the Wreaths Across America. And I want to, first of all, thank everybody in the city for the support for this distinguished program. I do have a few requests from the city, something to bring to your attention just to make this program go a little better. Talk to the mayor. He may be able to get some easels like Dana or Ruth. You guys know if we have any like flower easels? Past events, I'll talk to
Kind of with a
Lance
hook on them, right, that you hang a wreath on?
Yeah, just something to set the ceremonial wreaths on.
You need 8?
8. No, they provide the wreaths, but not the easels.
If you can't find them, let me know and I'll build something quick.
Okay. And I'd like to know if anybody knows of anybody that play taps, plays a trumpet or bugle.
We had someone there last year, didn't we?
Jerome did that.
Oh, Jerome did it?
Jerome lined it up.
Oh, he lined it
It
up.
was one of those recordings.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Jerome got them from the VFW or American Legion. And
Yeah,
they
they
there
have
was a whole
I have the
outfit.
same situation. I'd like to get a live bugler if I can.
The dead ones don't sound very good.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know there was an electric sign out on Westfield, announcing the trunk or treat.
Yep.
Last month. Is that city?
The city,
It is.
we can use it, yes.
Is that something we could put out at the entrance to the cemetery, just announcing when the Race Across America is going to be?
I'll take care of that.
What if we put it downward by the highway to the road to the cemetery?
That's what I
Clear
was-
down there where it'll be, yeah.
I was thinking there, unless it's going to be a traffic hazard, and then if that's the case, maybe we can put it like on the entrance downwards, maybe a little straighter, either north or south. All right.
We just have to cover it.
Yes, sir. That's one. I'll check with you on that.
They steal it?
No, looking at it from us, we need to get back.
And also with the signage, I'd like to just get permission to put it on the bulletin boards,
just a flyer up on the bulletin board in the city office. And some of the other public places are also supporting the post office, if that's okay. And I just feel like we need to advertise this. And then if I can coordinate with Ruth or Dana on the city Facebook page, get it out there. I know there was someone out on it maybe 3 weeks ago. Just give an update on that. Excellent.
Greg, what date, what time was that on the 18th?
10 a.m. Okay, great.
Are there two dates, one for a week ahead of time to prep?
So on the 11th at 9 a.m., we're going to, whoever wants to volunteer in the cemetery, we're going to actually mark the graves with a green flag so that come the 18th, you can just, everybody will know where to put the wreaths.
So that's at 9 o'clock on the 11th for volunteers.
Yes, on the 11th. I'd like to get maybe 2 dozen, 3 dozen volunteers to make sure something work with it. And the last thing I'd like to ask for is city support on programs. I'll design a program to use city resources to print out, that'd be great.
No problem.
You want from here, just have them go down to Steamroller, yeah.
Yeah, either way, but
I mean, you need,
probably be cheaper to take it to Steamroller.
I don't know, maybe 75, hopefully we can get turnout.
I just have them go to the city or take Ruth's card.
Okay. And that's all I have unless there's questions.
great. Just tell me what you want printed. I'll print it and we'll get it. You don't have to worry about the city or anybody else.
Thank you.
Or you could just give it to Chuck. He'll take care of it.
Do that. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, if not, then we'll move into our public hearing. At this point, let's see, do we need a motion for that? We don't.
So moved.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We're in a public hearing. Public input is sought on a conceptual master plan development overlay application submitted by Firelight Development for a 1,749 acre development located on the west side of Tokerville between I-15 and the Tokerville Parkway bypass road. Matt, were you gonna kick this off or?
Sure.
Okay. This is a time for public comment, so.
Good evening, Mayor, elected officials, Matt Lu representing Firelight Development, one of 4 that's present in our meeting this evening. Quickly, if I could, introduce them. Darcy Stewart is the owner and master developer of the project. Next to Darcy is Clark Kelsey, project manager. One of his roles is to make sure that the vision from the owners are set and that we don't off track. The other part of his role is he's kind of the, what's Tokerville look like? Does it fit in what we're proposing? Will it fit in Tokerville? So he basically makes sure that what we are presenting as a development team fits with the culture of Tokerville. So that's one of his roles besides project management and marketing of the project. Scott McCall, our engineer, he is here to answer any technical questions, if technical questions are asked. And I am just here to be the party planner. That's kind of my role. But again, our submittal this evening is on 1,749 acres approximately, with the blanket zoning, and we are further in the agenda talks about another piece of property that's on the southernmost portion, that we're trying to get de-annexed into the R120 zone. So we're in the process of first starting with a base density zone of R120, which math 1749 equals 3498 as far as potential units. And part of the application with an MPDO is the request to consider a 30% bonus density. And that's probably the other part of our application. So the first part is if the information and the data that we've submitted matches and answers the approximate 20 questions in the MPDO process or the MPDO application. And then the second part is consideration on density bonuses that follows 5 categories of which I think we've explained in a brief summary that's up on the screen right now. Sit until I get asked any other questions.
Okay, any questions from the council? All right, we'll take public comment on this item. Then anyone that would like to address the issue?
I'll follow on that. Dan Catlin, 821 South Beach Street. Just a couple, just through the development description, just a few concerns from the citizen. Under the description, it calls out residential neighborhoods and here setbacks, design standards set forth by Tocqueville City, with the exception of the active adult community, which has setbacks and development standards. I know the MPDO makes it so that you have more flexibility, but it doesn't exempt you from the code, and we do have our setbacks in code. Just a couple more things. They call out as low as a 3-foot setback. When the garage is open to the rear of that. They're going with a different height than what's in code. Different minimum building separations on commercial and residential. And calling out their own roadway designs, we have for public roadways, we already have our cross sections in our plans. Under general state, this is a plan development zone district, which standard zoning and development standards in the city of Tocqueville building and zoning code will apply on alternative standards that are not included in. I think our zoning codes are fine, whether you call out a certain standard or not. And a master drainage plan will govern over if there is a conflict. The developer's master drainage plan will govern, which I don't think the city can sign that one. And they call out at the end of it, except as otherwise noted herein, all city of Tocqueville ordinance of regulations and rules uniformly applicable and in effect at time of preliminary or final plat approval shall be applicable to the development of this property. That goes against what they're coming out as their exceptions to the code in the document. Just a thing on their bonus densities. They only get 30%. They're identifying 40 by calling out trails in two separate places, which our code states you cannot. And that's it.
Okay.
Jake Spirit, 1661 South Chaparral. Dan Catlin, I appreciate you. I haven't done the research like you have, but put great trust in all the council members and mayor to follow our ordinance and the codes and make sure we're following things the way they're laid out.
Okay. I'm trying to make 3498 go to 4,500 with 40%, but it works much better with 30%.
Yeah, it's a 30%.
Yeah. So they might have it written down twice, but I don't think they've actually added that.
Well, they called it out.
Yeah.
If I were to remind you, hold on 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, if there are no other comments, then we'll go ahead and motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll go back in then to our working agenda. First on the agenda tonight, F1, discussion on nightly rental application by Tyler and Skylar McCall, located at 22 West Center. PC recommended approval 5-0. Any discussion on
Everything's good on that? No, no?
Both the applications for the nightly rentals were really good. So,
Okay. Okay, any discussion on that item? Anything from the public? All right, we'll move on to item 2 then, discussion on nightly rental application, Tom Lundell, located 158 West Sunset Avenue, recommended approval 5-0.
Very good. You said both applications from that, right? Yeah, if they don't have any staff notes or anything,
Well, just the staff comments.
yeah,
that are-
just standard.
It was recommended approval of staff comments on each one.
Inspections, and yeah. Okay, we'll move on to item number 3 then, discussion on a zone change application submitted by Firelight Development for current zoning is MU20, multiple use, proposed zoning R120, single family residential. Matt, I think this is what you referred to earlier.
Which piece is it? Yeah.
I think this is for the south piece, right?
Yeah.
So in Winding River, not Winding River, it might have been Winding River, but Doug Westbrook, at some point when they came in, this piece got gathered up at the end.
Yep.
And then the city had talked to them about putting it into it, and it never got done.
The current zoning is what, in
So
U20?
it would be MU20 on this parcel, and they want to take it R120, so it fits inside the same.
Match the rest of it.
So this is on next week's planning commission.
This one is.
Public hearing for that has already been set, so. And I did do some research on that, so if we, depending on how it goes, the recommendation goes to planning commission, then you guys can actually take action on it.
Vote on
Because you won't need a public hearing, so.
Okay, any other comments on item F3?
I think the council is known this before, we've talked about this multiple times, that it was just a mistake that needed to get cleaned up, so.
Okay, F4, discussion on a conceptual master plan development over application submitted by Firelight on 1,749 acre development located west of Tokerville, I-15, and the Tokerville Parkway bypass road. Discussion on that item. We've already had our public meeting.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big document. I would highly recommend that, council members actually read that and review and make notes on it, as much as Mr. Dan Catman did. Any concerns we might have should be raised and addressed, but this will be their governing document as they go through. So this is not something we want.
Well, it's our governing document as well.
Yes.
I mean,
With the
there's
development.
2 sides to
Right.
it, so.
You're right.
So I can address too, some of the issues we found in planning commission is, and some of these will address Dan Catlin's. When we had the last NPDO go through, the setbacks and changes and the narrowness of the street is actually part of the development agreement. They'll fall back into there, and that was confirmed by the attorney through email, because I had that same
So one of
issue
the,
come through.
so one of the things to be mindful of that, when we work through that on the last one, is part of that is, there's a difference between it being public and private.
Yep.
And that's what came up, is they identified that this would be a privately held piece that was maintained privately. Now the city's not worried about how we're gonna access it and all those things. It definitely changes what can be built about it.
It's a private road on that.
No.
They can actually, that they can actually prove that they can obtain up to 45% of the 30% that they're allowed. So they have, in that bonus density calculation, they have a really good way. So when they put a preliminary plan in, they can come in and say, you know what, we're putting in 1,200 feet of trail, and this is what it actually equals in the density bonus for them. So as they go through this, they've got a calculation way
in the city, so that they can, we can keep the calculation, or they can keep the calculation forth on every single preliminary plat. That'll keep a ticker. So it's a really good program, the way that they did that in there.
And Matt, maybe you can speak to Mr. Scott. The intention would be is you're going to take those bonuses as you build it, right? So you're gonna bring in a preliminary plat, you're gonna take 30% of that with this trail, whatever it is, it's gonna be built at that time. We just have that go the other way, where they promise something, right, in the development agreement, and then they build out, and now ownership changes, and then it's a nightmare. So if their intention is to build those public
Well, with the
benefits.
with the actual conceptual design, it shows you roughly where the trails and everything's gonna be
Yep.
already.
But
So
our, but my point is, they need to get built while they do that,
As it's-
that section, yep. Okay. That's the plan, Scott?
Yeah, that's it. And we're demonstrating with the exhibits that we can achieve all these things, and we'll prove it as we go along. So we'll have a running total as we deliver on these parts or these trails. The total will look like that. So each plat that we bring through, the total will change. We'll do the calculations with some stuff.
The next thing that we talked about is there, and I don't know, I didn't see what you guys' comments are, but there's the 96 lots in Toker Hills. Yeah, Toker Hills that has already been, it's gonna be have the final plan on, we need to remove that out of the total. So when, I don't know if that's subtracted out there yet on your guys' side. And some of the notes was the legal description, which they have updated. It needs the legal description that are related to the parcel on the application.
Did you say final plat? Or did you say, was it preliminary?
The Toker Hills Phase 1 through 4 will be coming in for final plat. It has the final plat, is gone through James. Is that,
Okay,
and that's that phase over on the end of Westville.
okay,
So then lots need to be removed from the Toker.
okay, I see what you're saying now, okay.
Is there amenities in that, like trails or anything in that phase?
There'll be a little bit of trail.
There's not a lot though, right? Assume that, okay.
One that runs through that neighborhood.
So as far as the video, that's all that left.
I do have a couple of questions. Just, if you know off the top of your head, Dan mentioned the height restrictions. What do you know about that?
We didn't catch that part, so I don't know if that's part of the private area too. but I
And we
don't know if
covered
that was-
zoning, and then what about the master drainage plan? What's your comment on that? Okay.
Dan, could we get you to give Afton a copy of your concerns so that we can look at those and make sure we don't miss anything? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to thank Firelight for giving me so much homework that I have to do now. I'm not real pleased with it, but I am actually pleased with the way you guys have put it together. And I greatly appreciate your effort to make it fit in harmony with our community. That means a lot to a lot of us around here. So thank you.
So one of the other side of it, so the way that they put together the conceptual, as far as how we conceptually approve it, and they've gone through and laid it out exactly in the same format as the code. I mean, that made it really simple to go through the document and see exactly where it was. It was a big document, but it has a cheat sheet in there, so.
It's like they've done it before. Any other items of discussion on item number 4? Anything from the city council? All right, we'll move on then to item number 5, discussion on ordinance planning commission and ordinance updating when the chairperson is elected. Joey, is that you next one?
Instead of doing it in January on the first meeting, we're doing it on December. We'd like to do it on December because then we don't have a conflict on the January meeting of who's supposed to be the chairperson. So it's pretty simple, very, very simple wording change.
So-
That was talked about last year.
It was, and I think Ruth caught it like just in time.
We need to have in code before they do that because your meeting is next week and we don't vote until the week after that.
Well,
So do we need to vote on that?
the chairperson isn't elected. They're-
What's that?
The chairperson isn't elected, they're appointed.
It's appointed, yeah, but they just
So they done-
in the planning commission. So we didn't want to like appoint a new one on January and then that guy move over.
But
So-
you need to make it,
official tonight.
It's probably.
That'd be a really good idea because it is, yeah,
it's probably 2-word change in
it
the.
is.
When is your meetings next week?
Yep.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Can we vote by phone in a couple days?
You can do it by phone if need
Yeah,
be.
we can't do it tonight, but if it's
So let's just do a phone vote on that.
We'll do it tomorrow, we'll do it Monday.
That'd be great.
Yep, that'd be
Tomorrow
perfect.
works.
Well, do we need to wait until after the planning commission has a meeting and makes
Well,
a
let's
decision?
change
Or
this.
just change
Let's
the
change
ordinance
it,
right
and they
away?
can, if they do it on Wednesday, then they can be in code.
I don't think that's a change that's gonna cause any great stir, so. Okay, any other discussion on that one? All right, item number 6, discussion on ordinance density calculations in order to add a density calculation to the general requirements of an MPDO.
Okay, so this one is actually how we're gonna count the ERUs in the MPDO. So a lot of people got this confused because it was an MPDO on things is different than what the actual MPDO submission is, but this is just our way to calculate how we're gonna get to that total number of ERUs, or if they're gonna exceed it or not exceed it. And this also, we're gonna back up a little bit, this was actually one of the recommends that the applicant knows that they will comply with this also. So if this is adopted, they will comply with this. Well, it will probably be adopted at the same time as the other side.
So walk me through the hotel motel portion. Tell me what we're doing with that. Well, I see it here, but tell me how it's going to be applied in practice, right?
So basically, what the easiest way that's going to happen is as they bring a set of plans to us with a motel, is they're going to come in, they're going to look at this, they're going to say, okay, every 1,000 square feet. There's actually a note down here on the second part. It tells you that it excludes the hallways, the common circulation areas, the lobbies, the elevators, and and then they can start doing that.
Okay.
So when they bring that to us, we should just have a simple calculation to double check their math. We shouldn't be doing all that math as a city. And it's basically the same way there on all the apartments, condominiums.
And so we're basing it on the square footage, not necessarily a per bed or per room.
Yeah. So the ERU is a dwelling unit. It's kind of hard to do something that doesn't actually have a restroom as far as all the other stuff that we looked at to actually count that as an ERU. But there was a lot of talk too about, you can put a Walmart or something in there, as a parking lot that doesn't get any counted on there. And another thing that was brought up by the attorney is that he wanted to actually break down the commercial areas even more. And I said, I would love to if I want, but you can find me some literature to help me because there's none out there. I don't know. There's a lot of information about use, like sewer usage and how they tax a system. Everybody, I think, was referring to them usages compared to an ERU. And I can't find anything that it can actually give us a solid baseline.
So where would you classify these single units that they would consider to be? I don't know what you call them, Matt. They're not detached. They're not a hotel. They're not a motel. They're just separate little 800 square foot or 600 square foot. What category does that fall into here? Are they under the hotel motel?
Probably going to be a single detached count that way. So I haven't seen what it is.
Yeah, it really all depends on where we land as far as the definitions. Obviously with the hotel, with 170 rooms, that's kind of an easy thing to calculate. When we're proposing, like what the concept we're proposing, the outdoor adventure resort area, where we have individual, I call it horizontal hotel rooms, where it's individual units where it will be treated like a hotel, that room service and all that fun stuff that comes with a hotel or resort.
So they're just detached units. So it's
I want to jump in here too, because this is nothing to do with their
This is an overall.
MPDO. This is for every MPDO. So
okay.
single eyes them guys out and say, how are you going to do it? This is for us to.
So, yeah, so going with the commission chairperson, really, for us, whatever is decided and approved by the elected officials of the city, we will adhere to, make it real simple. And however we calculate what we build, we will follow the approved ordinance that's accepted by,
So, so Joey, when you guys, these vacation rental homes, right? There's 8,000 square foot, 12,000 square foot home built, right? And then there's 12 bedrooms in it or whatever it is. Where, in your mind, where's that going to fall into that?
So
Like, how do we, where would you put it?
I think that's gonna fall back into like the apartments attached single family dwellings. And it's gonna go off the square footage again. I'm not 100% sure. That's what, I think you brought that up once.
I'm just trying, like,
I
that's,
figured a way out.
we're
because
seeing
built this
more
great
and
big
more of
house.
those, right? And how are we going to account for that? It's going to come, whether it comes with Carlisle or in any of them. Where does it fit?
So, but this only applies if there's an MPDO in place, right?
Yes,
So if
exactly.
it's a standalone, I know
But we have an MPDO on all the growth. There's an MPDO on the south, and an MPDO on the north, and we've got to figure out how to account for, in the middle, account for
Right.
these.
Oh, I thought your question was about just a standalone.
No, I don't think, I'm not that
Vacation
worried about a standalone. What I'm worried, like, how does that fit into it?
I'm trying to think too, is like, just like the sewer district says, it's one house. Doesn't matter, how many total floor, it's the same.
But that's not how the fire department looks at it.
Yeah, it's not.
And then we get charged, like as a city, we pay an extra fee for the sewer, we get paid, charge an extra fee for the trash cans. Like, there's more that goes with it. So I just,
The sewer fees would be based on
Yeah.
water usage.
so I'm just curious, like, I just want to know how it fits in there. And if you don't have an answer yet, we need to find an answer. Simple.
I think I had an answer, just let me remember.
Okay, I'm good with that.
I know this has come up and I know I had a path forward in there, but I can't remember the exact.
I like it.
If you think about it as we go, just blurt it out. Okay.
So aside from the commercial item, on the other items, did we create that or did we use a model from another city to copy or?
This is based on about 4 cities' information.
That you looked at?
Simplified, it's actually, the base ERU numbers are pretty much copied per square footage out of other places. And some of the notes are, the notes that we took from other places. And put them into.
If there's so many ERUs that a developer has, and they've developed the housing, but they have commercial in there too, which is counted as, an ERU, and the commercial isn't in yet, and all of a sudden, part of the commercial zone is covered with commercial, and they run out of ERUs, does that?
They don't get any more ERUs. They got a plan, and that's part of that conceptual plan, is to be ahead to where, they're getting their density bonuses and they're getting all these things taken care of as they're building. Kind of ties back to the question that,
Justify the density.
Yeah.
And it has to go from the beginning.
Cite an example real quick. Our strategy with development is looking at first the 55 and older segment, which is about 76, 77 lots or units. About a few months thereafter, we're looking at also doing the commercial at the same time with a motor lodge concept, a restaurant, a shopping, a barn area for reception centers, maybe some retail. About the same time, we're looking at doing the attainable affordable housing project. And then we're also looking at doing some townhome mixed use or multifamily use. If Fish's wishes and everything works out well, we're looking at trying to come out of the ground with 4 different products about the same time. So that kind of helps hopefully address your question as far as how we would look at it. A lot of times people go and just build residential, and then they said commercial will follow. We're taking a little bit more aggressive approach and trying to build commercial with pieces of residential so that it can be a vibrant and more of a living community from the get-go.
Well, from a city perspective, we kind of appreciate.
A simple thing we could do is just put a, back to Ty's thing, is we could just put a square footage on the residential. Just put a limit, 5,000 square feet is one, and anything over is up to another 5,000 is another one. It's a pretty simple change. You guys could make that change on a.
Yeah, any other discussion on this item? Thank you, Joey. Appreciate your input. Discussion on impact fee, facilities plan, impact fee analysis, and ordinance, whatever it's going to be on the impact fee.
Well, I just had one change I'd like to make on that, on the parks and trails, is just bring that number down a little bit. So
Yeah, a number with that.
I do, I just want to go 55, go from the 65, whatever, down to 5,500 straight.
What is it now?
It's 45 now.
Split the difference.
Yeah. So the amount of homes I see we got, coming in, that's a little bit high. So
Are there any other categories that need to be?
I think the rest of them are good to me.
I'm comfortable with what we have in there, and the justification forms solid. Not pretty solid, it is solid.
Any other comments on item number 7?
No, I would just ask staff if you would make sure that we can get that over to, Bill, Fred, to and have him make that adjustment, then we'll have that document correct for voting on these weeks.
Okay, item F8, discussion on resolution fee schedule, updating impact fees, adding a municipal construction hydrant meter rental fee, and adding a water meter installation fee.
So I can talk just on part of this as we start working through the bid documents for Tocqueville Parkway. The amount of water that's going to be used is like astronomical. Our scale just gets more punishing in construction use. And this is a city project. And one of the things we could do is just set that water to fixed rate. So I met with Lance and staff. We came up with a dollar amount. And then we wanted to make that adjustment so that if it was a city-owned project, we're going to pay for it one way or the other. So we deduct that down from, what was the highest rate that was on there? After, do you remember?
Yeah, it said 12.
It's like 12.
12 for
12, yeah, and they're going to hit 20,000 gallons in 2 days, like maybe even day one. So this makes it a very,
20 minutes.
a very predictable amount, and it's something that will work, and it still funds our water system and pays for what we need to do. If we have to buy water from the water district during that time, it still pays for it, still takes care of delivery, makes it a flat fee.
And you're comfortable and it would be covered with that fee.
Yeah, and really we're paying for it regardless, right? I mean, if you charge $12, they just raise the bid up to cover that cost. So we're just going to bring it down. It will, in our fee schedule, only be able to be applied to a city-owned project or city finance project. We had some wording with that. So that was really the start of that deal. And I don't know what the water meter installation fee is.
Yeah, I see that.
We
Here,
wanna-
650, it raised.
It's still just a little bit, it's 12.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm off of the hydrant meter. The last item said, and adding a water meter installation fee.
Yeah, it went up, it went from 500 to 650.
Yeah,
It's in the.
it's up there.
There you go.
Yeah, it's-
Oh, okay. All right, so this was existing, we're just raising $150 to cover the cost of meters. that we put.
But, exactly. But it was never on the. It never made.
Oh.
So it should have been 500.
So is this
Oh,
part
scroll
of,
back down then for a minute, Dana, please. Yeah, but the impact fee covers the cost of the meter.
That's what I was wondering. Is this an additional meter?
This is to install this on the building permit. It was on the water and duct, streets, all of our impact fees, and then at the very bottom of this water meter install. And it was also $500 added on as well as $1,000.
Well, so as long as, like, the meter doesn't cost $500 and it doesn't cost us $650 to put it in the ground.
So the water meter, just for the water.
So the water meter, the cost that was presented to us was $200.
Something, 230.
And
So-
so
So that'd be $400 to put in the meter that takes 15 minutes to put in the ground. So
yeah, because we're kind of in a transition period of time here, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're going to get meters, right?
Mhm.
So we may have to put a meter in.
Right. So they were saying that, so what is this thing with when we just have, there's a possibility we'll have to put it in and we'll have to, when we get the actual meter that it's gonna have to be an exchange. That's where it goes from the 500. That's what that other 150 was for, was the exchange of that.
But is that the citizens' problem or is that the city's problem?
Well,
is it not the same?
Well, they'll keep, right.
I know, with the contract, I don't know.
20 minutes to change a water meter.
It's the supplier's problem. The supplier can't get us,
I
the
know.
meters are gonna stay in the ground, so now we gotta get 2 meters. So there's no way we're gonna take the old one back, we're gonna end up buying it.
Water meter chemicals covered in
It's,
That's not how we.
as the impact fee, but we've never taken money from impact fees to pay for the meters. That's always been a separate item.
All right, I'll do a little homework on that in the next couple weeks, because I don't know how to play with that.
Appreciate that. Yeah, any other discussion on that item? Okay, discussion on capital facilities plan update.
Update the capital facility plan, what do we have that? I'm trying to think of.
Item 9 on the agenda. I had an option of reading the entire thing because I didn't know what was updated. Is there any way that did I just miss something or was the update highlighted?
So the storm drain was here's part of the problem. We started this thing 18 months ago and we worked through it and we worked through it and we worked through it. And then we had the company that, no. Oh my goodness. Fred Philpott's company, whose name I can't remember. But they take this information and that's how they come up with their impact fees, right? They go from our capital facilities. So as we went through that, we found that we had some things that we weren't accounting for. So storm drain needed to be covered. So we added storm drain. I think there was a couple other little tweaks, and I have not reviewed this yet. I'll get it done, but how many items were on?
And he's probably, I mean, and he went kind of, I can email it.
If you'll email that to council and then take time to go through this, but we need to adopt this because we have it. So we need to review it, make sure you're comfortable with it. And this is what guides our impact fee study. So those two things go hand in hand.
Okay, yeah, I just got about 80 pages in and got tired of reading.
Yeah.
What?
I can send it to everyone.
Out in our list of changes right there.
Yeah, it should be.
No, move back to those, right? Yeah.
Were they highlighted?
Yeah, I have an actual email from Russ where I had a phone, Wes Vernon, where I said, hey, let's go through this and just see what, I said, the next question they're gonna ask is what did you change? And I wasn't here when you updated this 15 months ago. So you're gonna ask me. And so he said, yeah, it's the storm drain. And he sent me that actually in an email.
Okay,
I can
great.
forward that to
That'd be
you.
great.
You can read that,
Mhm.
then you don't have to go through every single page, just go what's changed.
I think what would be great is if it's an area of your responsibility, dive into that one. This
Yeah.
covers every part of the city, and then we can all get dialed in off of your input on it.
Okay, any other, item 9? We'll move on to item 10, discussion on resolution master parks plan update.
So this is the Westfield park plan. That's the original park plan they adopted. I don't remember what year, that was before my time. What was that? 2016. And this is and I'm waiting on all the rest of the park plan. We saw the irrigation, a few other things that aren't quite done. So we'll put this on for January, but this is the new park plan versus the old park plan. So we just need to adopt that so I can. The Parks Committee they have seen this original drawing months ago, and we'll bring it up again to them.
You said January. Did you mean our next meeting or did you mean in January?
January.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know if we'll have if I have it done, the plans. I just don't think it'll be done all the way before in 2 weeks from now.
So we won't.
Yeah,
vote
we'll
on
probably,
it then.
yeah, we'll
Okay.
probably wait until January this. Just for some information on this park, I do have the playground. If anybody's been down there, they're actually building the playground right now. So the concrete is poured and the playground is getting assembled and should be done by the end of the week.
Can I ask a couple of questions? Is there enough parking? There's about 11 or 12 slots there.
That's the whole design. That's what we have right there. But if you see by the pickleball courts, there's nothing between the road and if we need to extend the parking, that's one of the changes. We're not going to put grass there. We're actually going to put gravel there. If we need to, we can come back and add parking all the way across the east side of that parking lot or the east side of the park. So,
And is there going to be like a walkway that, I see a walkway to the pavilion.
there's a walkway all the way around. All that
No,
gray
I'm
is
talking
concrete.
about, scroll back, there you go. I see the walkway to the pavilion, but is there a walkway to the pickleball courts? Is there a walkway to the playground?
There will be, I don't know about the playground. We can add walkways. The pickleball courts actually be shifted to the south just a little bit to get a little bit more room between the bathroom and the pavilion area. But we can I was thinking about putting a walkway from the sidewalk on the east to the pickleball court. I don't want to put too much in there, so if we have to rip it out, then we're not,
And then maybe, I think what another thing would be good if there's been enough is the connection between the splash pad and the
Yeah,
playground.
we
Because
can
then all
do-
the kids are gonna go through there, track all that grass, and
Grass,
everything's
yeah.
up and then.
we could do a nice wide 10 or
Yeah.
12-foot wide apron. And go, so, yeah, it's easier. But no, we'll put concrete.
Those all, what are the,
Well, pomegranate bushes. There's a little more. That's what he added in. So
We're gonna have a pomegranate.
109. That's on the plan.
So then the
Absolutely.
kids will throw the.
Hey, kids will throw what they throw. Whether they throw rocks or dog food, they'll throw what they throw. So, but pomegranates make a nice hedge, and that's what I'm going for is a nice green privacy hedge between the residents. So.
I like that, the pomegranate fest. I think that's a great idea.
Anyway, so that's where we're at. Once I get this done, I'll have
We'll bid everything out and get more
So
push
one-
out.
Another thing that I'd ask Justin about is some of those picnic sites are actually covered as well.
Yes.
Instead of being open, there's actually,
Small,
If
small,
not,
yes.
it's not all of
I
them.
think all of them. I'm actually
Did you
trying, yeah. The bigger one with the 4 tables, we're gonna put a barbecue there. We've had a citizen in town that's gonna donate. He's gonna build us a nice barbecue to go on that site. I didn't want it over by the bathrooms, just with the splash pad, so it's gonna be nice to the park. So. You don't wanna play north and south, you wanna play east and west? Well, if you play north and south, then that's kind of isn't that how you're supposed to do it?
That's the only way I could win is if I can get somebody looking into the sign.
Yeah. So I thought I had them the right way, Dad, so you're not looking into the sun.
You better do it then.
Okay, we'll get her out there.
Don't get hurt.
Have her come and I'll meet her down there. She can show me how she wants them. So I'm just gonna finish up the plans and we'll get it so you guys can approve it, I hope. So if you want to zoom back out, Dana, real quick. So just for people's awareness, the pathway from the parking lot to the pavilion, along the side of that pathway is where we're putting pavers. So we'll have a nice wide walking path and the pavers with people who donated will be right.
Oh, okay.
So that way, we can always expand and add and keep adding pavers as we go. So
And that's a walking path all the way around the perimeter.
park.
Yep, all the way down the park and through the middle. Yep. And we'll get and I think I figured it's almost a quarter mile per lap. So we can.
Speaking of that, I was approached by Lane Garner Sunday, who oversees the turkey trot. They have $500 that they want to donate to parks that came from the turkey trot. They wanted to know if we could build them a paver that says
Absolutely,
Pokerville Turkey Trot to put in there.
absolutely. For $500, I'll make them over to Taylor, no problem.
I told him you would.
Will those walkways be handicap accessible?
Everything will be ADA act, yep, absolutely.
Can you get up the southwest corner?
Yeah, if you're on that, if you stay on that property line all the way up, it's, yeah, if you try to go from the middle straight up on the grass, it'll be steep, but if you stay on that south end, it'll be up to code, so.
Okay. Any other discussion on item number 10? Okay. City Council and Planning Commission annual meeting schedule.
I have an idea for you guys too. Have you heard the idea? This has been stomped on and kicked and everything, but if we move, and Ruth's gonna kick my butt for real on this one, I can see her mad up. If we move the Planning Commission meeting and the JUC, if we swap them two meetings, so you think of meeting, or the first month you have JUC, and the third week you'd have Planning Commission, and then the next month you would have, first week would be work meeting, and you would have what we had in Planning Commission in front of you, and then you wouldn't need your public hearings for 3 weeks, so that you would have them, so everything would go in line. Right now it doesn't. It kind of goes back and forth for us. So the first week would be you would just start, or the first month you would start with JUC, and then I'm just going to skip to the third week. So we're going to go to Planning Commission. City Council stays the same, so the third week is Planning Commission, and then you have that work meeting, and yeah, that's right. So then if you go to the next month, and the City Council work meeting would have everything that went through the month before in front of you, and then in your second meeting of the month, your second meeting you'd have time for your public hearings and everything. So it might move, and the big concern I've heard from everybody is that it will move everything a little bit faster, so we might have a better chance of missing some of the public hearing deadlines, but everything would be in line.
So work meeting and city council stay on the same first and third, and you guys are on the third.
We're on the third, and
JUC's the first week.
so it'll go JUC, and then Planning Commission. So if you just kind of follow the cycle, so everything we do in January, you guys are working on in February, and it just keeps.
That's the mayor to be.
I don't completely follow it. I'm special needs number 2. Is that what you said? So week 1 is JUC
And city council.
and city council work.
Let's see, sorry. So the second week.
City Council.
Oh, okay.
So you just swap, the only thing we're doing is swapping JUC and Planning Commission. City Council will stay the same, but if you look at it in a month or in a 2-month cycle, how we run through stuff. So the month in January, eliminate City Council because that's from the previous month. You got JUC, second week, Planning Commission, right? So that takes care of that cycle, but how everything's moving through. And then in February, it would move City Council, basically City Council all the way through. So we would move stuff through in about a 5-week period.
As opposed to 8.
But like I said, it'll make things have to be pretty organized.
No, that would be enough time to do reviews.
From JUC, it's the same amount of time all the way through. And it gives you an extra week for public notices for the city council.
Isn't the public notice like planning commission, right? So do you have time for a public notice to
It's the same
happen
amount of time in between all of
for a planning commission as well?
So what would be changing? So you have week 1, city council, week 2, JUC, week 3, city council, and then week 4. Next month would be week 1, same thing, city council. So it's the same format. What we're just going to put, you suggest put planning commission on the 4th, right? And the JUC on the 2nd. I see what you're saying now, sir.
What we hear in the fourth week, you're gonna hear the next week. In some cases, but most cases, you'll have 7, 8 days, but it's just a work meeting, so.
Exactly.
So you still have
Yeah.
3 weeks to do your public hearings, and then, the timing between JUC and planning commission is the same.
And what we have here is we have our planning commission on the 2nd. I like that idea. I think that's a.
I told you that Ruth is going to kick my butt though, because it's going to make it.
May not have the time you need to get it done.
And that's why I brought that up. But there is time. The big time crunch would be from planning commission to the work meeting, just getting that stuff done.
Yeah. But really getting work from our information planning commission work meeting, it's not as critical. It's just information flow at that point. It's getting it before the voting meeting on week 3.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. But we can talk more about it. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, any other discussion on item 11?
I just have one comment though it's just about JUC. 2 things we're hearing are that people are wanting to do JUC more often than just once a month. So just something to maybe think about if we start doing that. I know other cities are getting comments back considerably faster. We are switching to an electronic submittal so that they can have their comments to us by the 3rd, and then having JUC on the 4th so that then we can get those turned around. We're still having them bring in a paper copy so that everyone can talk about it and do it. But we have set up a JUC email where, so it's coming in for JUC, we're getting those submitted to us, and then we're distributing to all of the departments that come so that they can, they're submitting for those. So the applicant is submitting by the 3rd Wednesday so that we can get those out to all the departments so that they've kind of seen that when they come to JUC and they're asking, some of the questions that they need to ask. And they've been really great at responding. And we asked them, they've been really great at responding electronically. Obviously, we still need them to bring in, a paper copy or a couple. But that's kind of what we're hearing, is that it was just taking us so long. And obviously, we've been in transition of city managers and planning and things. So it's been taking a while, and we're trying to get that on track. But that's just something that people have asked. It's not a have to do it this second, but
Well,
you guys?
2 JVC meetings, they're held at 11 o'clock in the morning,
right.
JVC, so it would be far less impact than having it.
Oh, I know, yeah, I just mean, would it help you 2 a month? Would it, or would it make more work? I'm just wondering, where would it be?
Well, yeah. What we are,
2 weeks to help you?
I would like to, I just wanted to kind of just bring that up while we're talking about the schedule. I would like to have a more in-depth conversation about that, about the process and that. Right. 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 And so that's what I'm saying. So there's, that's why I want to have a more in-depth. I just want you to kind of be thinking about that.
It used to be sleeping town, it's changing, and so it's gonna get to that point where Zoom, very seldom you see. And you're gonna get that way, and it's gonna be, sad to say, but.
Well,
I know.
Sad to say,
And what Santa Clara City's doing is they're doing it on the weekly as well, but they're calling theirs TRC, like the technical review. And so it's the same thing as JUC, but if there's nothing on the agenda, they just cancel it, right? But if there is, or if all the members can't come, then you just do it as a technical review. So, but yeah, I mean, that's a longer.
A month?
Yeah, you could do that. That's how they do it. They have their TRC every single week, but then they have their actual JUC once. So anyway, just something to think about. It doesn't have to be decided right this second.
That busy, we're gonna need more people.
Right.
Bottom
So,
line,
yeah, so just something to think about.
Maybe another
Yeah, exactly.
ask for this one. Maybe we can have, I know you do, but like a really hard deadline for applicants. In order for you to make a meeting.
For the JUC.
A hard deadline. If you don't make that deadline, you don't make that meeting. it doesn't go.
So us trying to be nice and helpful and a good idea.
No, I think it's good. It's like, it's a partnership.
Right.
Whoever's the applicant, you need to understand.
I'm all in.
One thing that, right, it's very difficult. And so, I mean, until we get really, I mean, we've got to still, we're super small still, so we've got to be somewhat accommodating.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, we've got to have some of that. I know that-
While we can.
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, if we get huge, obviously we have to do it. One thing that Santa Clara did to kind of hold people's feet to the fire of that coming to JEC, if you sign up, you show up, you know, and that is that they actually charge an application fee for you to get on JEC. I'm not saying that we're there. I'm just saying lots of different conversation that we can have about that, but that is a request that we're hearing is, can you guys please have JEC more than once a month? So.
Discussion on item 11. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, move on to item 12. Okay. Discussion on city council meetings. What,
I can speak to this maybe. Our code
gonna happen, right?
says it's on Thursdays, and we've been having it on Wednesday. This just changed the code so that it doesn't say Thursday.
How we changed that?
Apparently not, because
I
it's
think,
not in
I
our
think we
code.
meant
code
to,
didn't
but it
get
probably
changed.
didn't happen.
Yeah, I thought we had voted and did all.
Well, I don't know if we did or not. I just know that's what was there, and so, yeah.
So
That's all
don't
this
come
does.
tomorrow night. We won't be here. Okay, is that everything on that one then? All right, discussion on Washington County solid waste representative appointment. That's currently
Me.
Justin.
Justin and you, right?
There.
I'm not-
So-
yeah.
But currently, so that'll be when we'll reappoint in January. That will be the conversation.
Well, actually, mine is a little different. Because that's asking, solid waste is Justin.
Oh,
I'm
solid
not-
waste is me.
We're not talking sewer district.
Oh, yeah, solid, yeah, solid waste. Runny, solid, I forget which one I'm working with, so. Yeah,
Keeping it?
I'm good, yeah, I'm
Okay,
I'm good on the solid, so.
Okay, we move on then. Item number 14, discussion on Southwest mosquito abatement representative.
That's Gary.
I'm fine with it.
Item number 15, discussion on resolution HVFSSD representative. Oh, fire department. Okay.
You know, historically, it's been the mayor. I just took,
You stole it, is what happened.
I specifically asked, and you agreed. So, I mean,
What was I
historically, it's been the
gonna say?
mayor, but I'll be happy to.
Is it just one?
Actually, yes,
Okay.
yeah, and I'd like to continue on
You
that.
keep that?
Okay. Which is as it should be. All right, number 16, Ash Creek Sewer District representative, which is Justin.
You want to keep all
Yeah,
the-
I'm fine with all the waste.
Okay. Well, I could make some comments on that, but I'm gonna.
Go ahead, make them public, make them public.
No, I'm not going to. It would be inappropriate.
Well done, mayor. Well done. You've learned much in your
Thank you.
4 years.
All right, number 17, ASSD mayoral representative, which would be, I don't know, probably the mayor. Okay, by the way, in January, the chairmanship goes to Laverkin. So
Yes, I
that's a
received an email
2-year
from Mike on
appointment,
it, yeah.
2-year appointment, so. Okay, item 18, discussion on naming mayor pro tem.
We'll just do that. Do we do that in January, or do we do that next meeting?
Was done in January 4 years ago.
When it's done in January, we'll do a second reading.
Yeah, but you'll need a pro tem if the mayor's not there. Not like the chairman of the,
I think we can still appoint in
December, if you want.
December. Yeah.
good?
Got some stuff that we can appoint.
Mhm. Are you volunteering or nominating?
Straws here.
We don't have anything in here. We took care of the new city councilman appointment last month.
Yeah,
Right?
so we put, there's a
that's on
statement
the
out
track.
and we're just receiving written letters of interest.
All right, number 19, discussion on CIB and CDVG grants.
So yeah, this will just be really quick. This is just more of, we just wanted to let everybody know that we are looking into CIB funding. We're looking into the Community Development Block Grant. That this is going to have a public hearing coming up. They stressed when we went to this meeting, they said the public hearing is open invitation for comments, so people can bring whatever ideas that they might have. Obviously not, the meeting won't be the actual place where we decide on a certain project or anything like that, but we are definitely open to that. With the the development, the block grant, the thing with that one is to keep in mind, they said just stress that no more than 30% of the area can be vacant. So it needs to be somewhat built out. It needs to have more than half of the residents there are low to moderate income, and which means that they make 80%, 80% of the area mean or lower. So of the area mean, they'll supply us with that prior to that meeting. So Ty, did you have something?
No.
Okay, so there's that.
Real quick, I'm on that for the CDBG grant. What is that?
So there's the CIB grant, that's the impact board, the one that we're looking specifically at the public hearing for. That's the community, it's an economic development, and it's to help small rural communities with funding for low to moderate income. So to bring in access, to upgrade. We can't guide this with some sort of specific list of projects that we want to do, but it's things like if it's water, lots of these projects, they actually on 5 County Association of Government, they have some infographics that show, hey, in the past we've approved 17% of the projects we've approved have been water. 54 of them have been, this. So it's things that raise the standard of living in low to moderate. And so
Low to moderate's based off the median income for Topeka City, which was right at pretty high.
yeah.
Highest in the county.
Right. So just to let you know that we are looking into that. And so one of the things we have to do with that will happen the first week of December, even before the public hearing, is that we have to do a door-to-door survey in whatever area. So they said, just to kind of let you know, if we do something that's an isolated project, the funding can go up to about $200,000. If we do something community-wide, it's up to about $300,000. So, yeah. Right. So you can see they've done that, but we don't have a library. We don't have those types of things. And so,
Speak it up.
We got a fire pump truck. Can we get a fire pump truck over here at Tocqueville?
right.
We got our water tanker.
But they said, when I talked to them, I said, so let's say a resident walks in with an idea of that they want to like upgrade, infrastructure. And they were like, yeah, sounds great. So, right. So, so there are lots of, different projects that they've done. I think water is something that has always it's repeatedly coming up in every meeting I'm in, that there's water and fire emergency. I don't know if we have a place for a fire station yet or something like that, but just, lots of different ideas. The main thing is ultimately, we're just seeking public input. So that will happen at the next meeting. We'll be asking for that. So exactly. Yeah. So we need public input at that.
Who's going to attend that meeting?
Yeah. They have to bring their own ideas. For that, yep, I'm going to it.
We probably need to, on social media, however we get out.
Yeah, we definitely want their input.
I work with multiple
Right.
saying, hey, we're. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we got to figure out how to make sure people understand what we're trying to get at.
So they will, right, and so what they did is they've actually, she's, Alyssa, she's our liaison between 5 counties. She's actually emailed over, and I've sent that to Ruth, of that, it has the public notice requirements on it with their exact wording that they use, that we can put that on Facebook, we can put it on bulletins or things like that. The main thing they said to just kind of announce today and let them aware that there is going to be a public hearing where we definitely want their input. And the second thing is to make people aware that once we narrow down a project area, we do have to do a door-to-door survey. Anonymous just says, how many people live here, and will you check the box of what your household income is? Totally anonymous. So.
Public notice, Ferris wheel in the West Field.
Sure.
I think we could get some people there.
Should we? Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's all I had. Thanks.
No other discussion on that? Okay. All right, that concludes the discussion part of our meeting then. We'll go to council reports. Mr. Sip?
The solid waste, we're actually looking at improving the entrance to the landfill. We're looking at some designs with 2 scale houses coming in and going out, so that, because if you go there on a Saturday, I refuse to go to the landfill on a Saturday. You're an hour waiting to get in. So they're looking.
Virgin's pretty easy, by the way.
Yeah, but I can't dump my dump trailer in the up there.
Yeah, she's like a real cop up there.
Yeah.
He wants to go through all my trash before I dump it.
Yeah. Anyways, but the landfill. So we're looking at upgrading out the landfill, and I think it's a great idea. It's going to help. They're even talking about doing some RFID for the trucks that have known weights. They can just come in, weigh in, and they don't have to weigh going out because they know what they weigh. They're just trying to update it. That anyway. So that's what's going on there. We talked about the park. The park is moving. I think I'm gonna as soon as I get these plans back from the engineer and the park, the landscape architect, I'm actually gonna start bidding that out. I can start building it this winter and have most of it done for spring. So we're gonna push hard on that. I gotta get some numbers exactly to find out how much money I've got left after we build the park, if any. So. The sewer district, Michael's here. There's a lot going on with the sewer district. So I'll keep you updated on that. Nothing new there that he didn't bring up. So that's all I have.
Okay.
So can I ask a question? Is there someone on the Trails Committee that could put together some kind of a trail map or something?
We have on our capital facility plan, we have a bunch of map trails listed.
Of all the existing trails?
Existing, yeah, we've got a few, but JD's got a list of all the trails. He's actually GIS everything we have already. But we're gonna, all the proposed trails, that's what we're gonna be pushing on what we've got.
I think it'd be nice to have a map that really where people would see it.
Be nice to have one on the wall, big one.
I'll work on it.
Not you, someone on your committee.
Right, if I can find somebody who want to do it.
Yeah.
Mr. Ellsworth.
The sports complex, the Arc, had conversations with the BLM, and they have tentatively agreed to allow us to expand the footprint so that by about 140, 160 acres more, so that we could include the roads that, and it's needed also in after the designers have gone in and planned it, looking at all of the terrain. There was just more land needed in order to fit in what we have agreements with to fit. So they agreed, which I was happy about, and I think we'll have the NEPA checklist within, I'd give it another 30 days or so. That's all I have for it. Cool.
Can I ask a question? When that presentation was made, the gentleman said, the only thing I'm worried about is you need a new interchange.
Yeah.
That the roads, everything's going to be piled up on that ramp, okay? And UDOT's going to take if that interchange gets on the list, it's a 20-year deal or something like that. Do we have any concerns about what's going to happen there at that interchange?
So I can speak to that, Gary. I have engaged UDOT already. I've met with Kate and Rick. They've put a request in back to Frank to get a traffic analysis study done. And then UDOT will start looking for ways to accommodate it. And it's not a 20-year process. They assured us that it was like, no, if it's needed, we can figure out how to get it done. So for what it's worth, Frank's been working to try to get that to that point. But
Frank is ARC?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's, and my meeting with Kate and Rick on it was very good. And that was their take, like, bring us the information. We'll take the information. We'll figure out how to get it funded. So,
Okay.
if it deserves it.
So
They're having special things, you can't, you can't require.
Yeah, and there will have, that'll be an interesting thing to.
On the
figure out what
freeway?
it's like
At the bottom of the ramp.
When it comes off the ramp.
They do it at university football games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything
That's all I
else?
have.
Okay, Mr. Springer.
Well, we got a lot of stuff going on right now, but I don't have Anderson Junction water line going right now. So I'll take
Obviously.
responsibility for that.
But you promised to have it going in a year.
I know, I just ran out of time.
But
I ran out
end
of
of
time.
this year, you got 1 month left.
It's not gonna be done by then. Just a couple things that are fun. We are bidding, the bid closes next week. So council, you're welcome to attend. That'll be kind of an interesting day and a pretty telltale sign. The intent, so that this goes on to our council meeting on the 15th. Our intent will be to award, so I'll need to have an action item on the 15th to award the contract by the 15th. Our start date is January 15th, January 10th or 15th. And so we want to make sure that we can have it award. There's some lead time issues with some larger fittings that are getting to the 30 to 40 week time frame is what we're getting feedback from the contractors on. So there's a probability that after we've awarded it, we may want to place an order for some of those materials, get them coming. We'll just purchase them on our account, get them coming, and then deduct them out of the contract so that it'll save us about 6 weeks of time from when they could go. So
We might save money on price
Yeah.
too. I think we're going.
no idea. So anyways, just be aware that that is something that we are working on. And then I handed out to you guys, I thought this was kind of interesting. Than Nagley called me and said, "Hey, Ty, I've got this document I want to send to you." So he sent me what I put on your desk. If you read through it, and to the citizens, this was a public hearing notice that was sent to Tokerville back on June 12th, 1969. And it says, beginning at the Anderson Junction interchange located 30 miles south of Cedar City on I-15, approximately 6 miles to Verkenstein Park. And this was talking about our bypass road. It says a public hearing will be held at 10 a.m. Friday, October 3rd, 1969 at the LDS Recreational Hall in Laverne, Utah to advise citizens the reasons for this road, economic development, and a lot of things. So in 1970, this thing was talked about, and the citizens put back together a list, kind of a rebuttal to it, and they signed a petition. So it was fun to read through and see the signatures of the folks that were here. I mean, they had a pretty good list of people that signed it, and then they presented a new alignment. And if you step all the way back and you look at what our alignment is now compared to what they gave to us, it's not too far off. It's pretty interesting how time has gone by. I'd never seen this. Stan had never shared it with me.
Almost exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, not exactly with the turns and everything, but the straight line.
Yeah. Tying in was kind of fun.
End point, beginning point are identical.
So anyways,
This is not the one we looked at in 1985 though, when I was a kid.
yeah,
It's different
than that.
different picture.
So anyways, kind of fun. And just so the citizens know, staff knows that's moving ahead, and that's going to be a big burden, council, on our staff. No matter how we slice it, it's a lot of work. Our city, Lance and JD, our staff is going to be very involved with inspections. There's almost, I think there's about 1.5 miles of water line that'll be inspected by us. We are inspecting a ton of stuff. Even though we have Stanley Consulting, we're still our water line. So we'll be out doing some of that stuff. So just be aware that we'll be spread a little thinner for a while these things get done.
So this is a statement on how fast government works.
Yeah, that's exactly. I just wanted to point out.
1969 to 2022.
Yes. Oh, yes, you
Yeah,
do.
you do.
You can have that copy right there. So that's all I have, Mayor, unless I have any questions. Oh, you know, one other thing I ought to bring up. Oh, yes, yeah, we'll make a couple copies. One other thing is you take if you drive through the Parkway alignment, you know, it's been dozed off for really 90% of it. When you come through the gap off the hill where it's going into the racetrack, there's two basalt boulders back there that have some dates and markings on them.
It's my wife's grandparent.
We need the history on that. So we've got them identified. They're identified. Bighorn has identified them as well, and we need to relocate them. So the plan is to pull those two rocks, take them up, and we want to set them where there's going to be a future park and firelight, and then have the history written with them. But they need to be moved within the next 60 days. So Firelight's group has committed to do that. Yeah, so they've met with
Yeah, I
Rouge
thought Matt-
Machinery. They're trying to find us a way to get them moved. But just so the citizens know, council, that we are anticipating moving them. Mayor, if you know the history of them, it'd be awesome.
I don't know the
to find
history,
some,
but I can gather it up.
yeah, it'd be kind of fun. So just be aware that they are identified and that they are being relocated.
He used to own all that property out there. So he put LSK and EHE, that was his brand.
Yep.
He put it on everything, including his daughter. Tattooed or burned in somewhere, everything was branded.
Seems like a real nice smoke.
His daughter was my mother-in-law, by the way.
That's all I have, Mayor.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, after that
That's probably more than you wanted
fun
to know.
little
wasn't
tidbit you shared.
it? Mr. Chase.
Well, with the mosquitoes, I don't think we need to worry about them for a few months, but I have to say that Sean Emmett has done a great job with that unit. He's detected that we have a lot of problems with the storm drains that are collecting mosquitoes in St. George area anyway. And there was no West Nile virus this year. They had a conference up in Salt Lake, and they actually had Sean give a presentation up there, and that was really good. And a lot of the stuff that they invent down here is, being used. I mean, you had it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, those air broadcasting, the way they're doing their little gradual collision is amazing.
Yeah.
The weed blower and it shoots way out.
Very creative, and I think there are other communities in the state that are really following the lead with our mosquito abatement. And then on the Confluence Park, I mean, we had a 2.5 hour meeting, unbelievable, over some protests over a land exchange with Hurricane residents. So it was just kind of nothing that applies to us, except for the fact that the stairway is done. They're still finishing up some of the park area there at the power plant park. And they're looking at getting that bridge going across the Virgin River done by about April, is what they're saying. The stairway was probably about a year later than what they expected. So I don't know what to tell you about the bridge. That's all I have to report.
I have one thing that doesn't really pertain, just as a way of warning. We had a family reunion here, my wife's family, Coleman, last week, and part of that reunion was a hike from the church up to Big Rock, the Toka Rock up here on top of the hill and back. When we got back, two of my granddaughters had 9 ticks each in their hair. So long hair. That mountain always has been a tick magnet, but right now they are really bad. So if you go hiking up there, check yourself out, because there are ticks.
Feel like mosquitoes, the people call them the Gary.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Gary's problem.
No, ticks don't fly, so.
Okay.
Mr. Williams.
This, on the 18th of December, we've got the judging of the Christmas tree lighting in the town. The 3 previous winners from last year, Chase, Johnson, and Young, will be going with me. I'll drive them around. We got a little form, check it all off, decide who won. None of the people who won before can win again because they're the judges. They'll swap out again the next year. And so
Who's judging this year? Who's judging this year?
Chaves, Young
Okay.
and Johnson.
Is that Susan Shaves or? Probably her.
It's, a-
My wife has better taste.
well, what I've been doing in the past is
Accepted men.
both members of the family can come along and we have and I've got that great big van, so I'm just driving and they have an opportunity to look out all the way around and everything that's going, and I've driven around so far a couple of times to see what's going on, and some pretty good stuff going on. Although Choya Creek and Trail Ridge are a little.
Did you go by my
worse than
house?
We are, yeah.
It's all decked out. It looks
Yeah.
way better than the Ellsworths.
All I see is work, work, work.
Okay, so enough on that. You've got the background, the briefing on the Reach Across America on the 18th of December in the morning. And that's going to be graded. Greg Turner basically did all the speaking that last year. He was really good. He's got a lot of history he puts into it regarding metrics. And then we had the lighting. A few people came out, the lighting for the city hall, and then we had the lighting ceremony. And the best part of the lighting ceremony was the mayor. He gave a short prayer / speech and talked about the people of Tocqueville and the importance of it, and the fact that they've been doing a lighting ceremony here for every year for about 65 years.
That we know of.
We know. Well, none of the other people were alive to tell us, so.
I'm sure Chief Topper didn't do a lighting ceremony.
Well,
I
it's
don't know
called
what he would've
Firelight
done.
now.
No.
I want to make sure that-
It's called Firelight now, so.
Poker, no.
But anyway, it was pretty good, and his comments were excellent. I wish that I had recorded them so we could see hear what he said about, being good and doing good things next year. That's all I have.
Okay. Anything else we need to bring up in this meeting? If not,
Close.
I would accept the motion. Got one?
Second move.
Have a motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting stands adjourned at 7:21.